Congratulations are in order.
Oh, that was for me?
Congratulations, fam. Now, an official alum of the University of Florida. Welcome to the Friday 3-Man Show. We haven't done this in a while, and it's a reason that we're doing it. We like to celebrate the victories, whether small or large, and this is a large victory, not only for Freddy T, now being a graduate of the University of Florida, but for our entire crew, for our entire group, for our entire business, for our entire show.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought to hear to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless, niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought to hear to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key.
Welcome, this is Channing Crowder. This is the now newly graduated Fred Taylor, and I'm Ryan Clark. Bro, first off, I do want to say congratulations, all jokes aside, and also want to say like the inspiration you are and the courage it takes to have accomplished what you've accomplished in life and make a promise to someone who I know was near and dear to you and see it through. Just tell me a little bit of why you decided to go back and get your degree.
I kind of played around with it in my head over the years, and it just never sat right with me that it wasn't complete. You know, doing applications, you know, they get to the education part, what level of education you complete. I could never put, you know, college graduate. But in '94, when I left to go to school, I made a promise to my grandmother. You know, I set out to go and be the first person in my family to graduate. That didn't happen. Then my baby sister graduated before me. Then my daughter graduated before me. I was like, what the f? So I kind of played around with it. So after I retired in 2011 officially, around 2012 I took 2 classes. Then in 14 I took a class. 19 I took a class. I was like, all right, I don't really need to go through with it. I'm good. Then after realizing I was losing my grandmother, it came back around. And when she was on her deathbed, I was like, you know what? I gotta knock this out. Like, so I leaned into her, I made her a promise and said I would do it. My son Austin, somewhere in the 4th quarter, he decided he wanted to go to the University of Florida. He was accepted, which was amazing. I was like, way to go. So I figured I can fulfill a promise on one end, finishing what I started. And then for him, just be an example, you know, just be an inspiration for him, for any other athletes that might consider it. My son Kelvin, he just re-enrolled back to school. So I mean, the amount of DMs I got from players saying, I was thinking about going, but now you just motivated me to get back. So I think it's a huge accomplishment on my behalf to go back 26 years later when I didn't necessarily have to. Indirectly, it'll touch a lot of people. I think it's invaluable, the message that it sends. So I'm glad I did it for that reason alone, more than anything else, because I don't know if I'll ever do anything in line with the study of sociology, right? I can tease Channing and say I'm a social scientist now, but I will never use it in the field of sociology. But what I am considering is potentially doing an 18-month MBA program at the University of Florida, maybe in business administration, entrepreneurship, or marketing. So I'm kind of playing around that idea, so I'll be able to leverage it up. So, oh man, that's done. It feels good that it's done. You guys didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't know. You'd be in the car looking over your scores from your test the night before when we riding places, and I'd be laughing my ass off.
Yeah, I know.
Man, I got an 80. I thought I knew that one. It had to feel funny though, because you sitting there at 62 years old, and but even I know you ain't you did most virtual, right?
Yeah, I did all online. I probably would have gotten it done sooner if those options were available. Yeah. But as I started down the path, they didn't offer those 2 big classes that I just took here at the end, methods of social research and theory, sociological thought. So that wasn't offered online. So when they offered, I was like, I got to jump down and do it. But yeah, it was just that, studying on these long-ass flights to go do pivot, watching the lectures, not attempting the exams or quizzes because of the Wi-Fi can be shaky. But as soon as we land, before we link up or do the shows, I'll just, do a quiz, knock the quiz out or something, 30 minutes they give you, and just get back to it. See you, I'm like, Chan, damn, I got a 90. I got an 80.
90, listen, man, I thought I got it right. Why your clothes ain't fit during graduation?
What?
Why everything was tight and your little hat was perched on your face? You know me, I look at different types of stuff when things happen. Bruh, I'm proud of you. But yeah,
I got the gown.
Your eyebrows mushed.
I got the gown for a 6'2" person, right? And my cap, I had to go back and request the XL.
Should have requested another one.
That's how it fits, man. What you want me to wear, like a fitted?
I ain't never gonna know nothing about
Well,
a cap.
I don't really have to wear it again. It was just 2 hours, so.
Last year this time, and you brought up your grandmother. Last year this time, we did the show after the Emmys, and that was where it kind of started for us in Mental Health Awareness Month, and we just asked, are you all right? Are you okay? Is there anything that I could do for you? And that centered that day around your grandmother.
Correct.
And around the feelings you had in her losing a little bit of herself, and you in turn realizing you may lose her. Chan, during that show, you brought up checking on the funny friend, which is one of those things that I think at the time sort of went over people's heads. And I think a few months ago, there was another site on social media that posted it and kind of championed that thought of just because someone's making you laugh, just because someone's a light or they are charismatic or humorous, it doesn't mean that everything's okay in their life. We talked to Solomon Thomas last year. We've had Ryan Mundy on the show this month. And I think, honestly, that message has always been extremely important to us. Freddy T, you put it in the group chat that you thought it was time that we had that sort of check on our show for ourselves and also for other people. So I think, I want to start with you, Freddy T, because I believe you have a grasp, or you at least, think about this in a different way than we do sometimes, and you articulate that well. Just, man, like, how are you?
Yeah, I am so good, bro. Like, I'm really enthused about what's next to come. I think there are a lot of different things kind of starting to head in the right direction. Now, I just look back on a lot of stuff and realize, damn, I've come a long way. Even in this pivot into this second career, this stuff that we're doing, we really work our asses off, man, and things can become overwhelming at times and tiring, but just to be able to keep pushing through. I visit with my therapist, whether it's online, via video or in person. So I just make sure I'm checking all the boxes, man, just taking care of myself, trying to prioritizing my health. Chan always teasing about my age. So when we get to a certain age, we got to do necessary things to make sure we're still here for the people that we love and the people that love us. So knowing that, I try and stay on top of everything from a medical standpoint. But just in life in general, man, just excitement, coming off of that, still that high, having made that accomplishment with attaining my degree and finishing college. It feels good, man. Just to, we haven't shot in a little bit. Just to get back and reconnect with y'all, that's also a good feeling, and knowing what's next for us. So I'm solid.
You good, brother?
Oh, I'm always good.
You good though, cause you take on a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm in a different season in life than I was last year. Last year was like the I told you bitch season. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't really talk like that all the time, but that was like what I felt. It was kind of like making my first Pro Bowl in football, and then having some of the accomplishments we had on this show and also individually, and now I'm sort of just like, I'm just grateful, and now I'm looking for ways to sort of be a part of some sort of calmness while you're attempting to be successful. This was an interesting week for me. friend of mine on Sunday, one of my closest friends in Baton Rouge, he's a little older. He's in his 60s, so his parents are in their 80s. And we're just outside at Cinco de Mayo. His mom is dancing, and she falls. And then when she gets up, like, she's disoriented, you know? So everybody's concerned about her. She's been married to her husband for 61 years. He's concerned about her. My homeboy, you know, who's just a strong man, and like, he's there for her. And then when the ambulance comes, he just goes off to the side and just cries. But like, the genuine concern for her from everybody. I was like, man, if God allows me to make it to that age, I want people to be that concerned for me. I want people to love me that much because of who I was to them. Chris Mortensen's memorial was this week in Arkansas. And everybody that got up, one, they universally said he was like this prankster and jokester, but they all talked about what he had done for them, like the way he had sown into their lives when they never expected it. And like, all of these things run into a sermon that I heard at church Sunday about kindness. And the pastor was saying that kindness is a choice, that kindness doesn't gossip, that kindness is a strength. And it got me to thinking that, like, that is a choice. And it's a choice we get to make. And sometimes we get so busy and so wrapped up in all the things that we're doing in our life, and we don't think about extending that because of what we're dealing with, because of what we're going through. And so, like, that's been my focus. It's been like, have a kindness toward people who said you couldn't do it. Have a kindness toward people who doubted you. Have a kindness towards people that can't do anything for you. Have a kindness that is honest, in the sense that, like, holding yourself accountable, being aware of where you fall short, but also holding people around you accountable. Like, if I truly love you, if I truly love you, I can't allow you to go down a path that can lead to destruction. And so, like, that's just, like, truly what I've been focused on. And, you know, something that sticks out to me is, like, as men, for sure, we always talk about peace. Mm-hmm. And peace has become like this sort of word that we go to and everything. Oh, I just want peace. I just want peace. But truly, we cannot be masters of peace if we're agents of chaos.
Correct.
We cause so much chaos in our own lives, whether it's driven by ego, whether it's driven by greed, whether it's driven by any of those things that God didn't put in us to truly fulfill us or to truly make us content, that are just human, because we're imperfect. And so I think for me, it's just really been a time where I've gotten a chance to like I'm done fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last altercation I got into in February in Vegas at the Super Bowl, where I felt like I had to check disrespect. It was the first time I realized that everybody that disrespects you doesn't actually have a personal agenda against you. They have a personal agenda for themselves. And everybody that disrespects you isn't worth being checked.
Yeah.
When you look into a man's eyes and you give him an opportunity to be all of the things towards you, in front of you, that he is when he isn't, and that man doesn't take that opportunity, it makes you realize everybody's not built like you.
Correct.
And that instead of trying to prove a point by out disrespecting him or by checking him, I should have just been kind to him, because he needed it. And that's something that's hard for me, because I didn't grow up that way. I didn't get to where I am that way. But like, that's my focus, man, on just being good to people. Because I feel like if you put that good out there, that good comes back.
Just to piggyback on that, RC, you know, we tease about me reading the comments creeping or whatever. I look for feedback, like on the show, positive, negative, or whatever. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about this, the Austin Rivers comment about the basketball guys being able to play football and vice versa. In the comments, I've learned to be good to myself or kind to myself by starting with character. My responses determine the type of character I am. Like, what is it about Freddy T and your response? So sometimes I've learned to take the high road by telling myself that, like, it's your character that's on the line, depending on how you respond to whatever that comment might be. If it's a negative comment, I've learned to bypass those by just telling myself it's your character. Like, be kind to yourself, Fred T. Like, you respond a certain type of way. That'll put you at peace. So I just learned to practice these different little things, these little mind tricks, but it speaks a lot to who you are as a person, and I start with that.
It's funny you said, there was Kendrick song, Not Like Us. And I know, I'm not even talking about the beef for that. I know we get into that, whatever. But we used that on this show before when somebody comes on. He's like us.
So I talked to Troy for an hour and a half, and he was asking me about you guys, and I brought you up, and I was starting explaining what I thought about you. And he goes, oh, he's like us.
That's the thing that I was just thinking about when you were speaking and you were speaking, Fred, is that, like, there's people in this world that didn't grow up like you. There's people in this world that didn't have the fact that everybody asked me about my arrest in college. And my answer really is, I didn't know that if another dude called you a bitch, y'all didn't have to fight.
Right. Yeah.
That's the answer, period, to why I got locked up so many times in games. But I'm like, if you call me a bitch from Atlanta, we gotta lock up. And we don't need no police around, we don't need that. You knock me out, I knock you out. We gonna get up and we gonna go our separate ways. And just being raised like that, but that phrase, not like us, it's a mindset of where you come from. It's your mental reaction to what you've seen and how you've grown up and what happened in your life. You know what I'm saying? Conditioning. Right. And that's the thing too that I've seen a lot now. And just think about when I first heard the song, I didn't even listen to the song. I thought about the title. And I was like, we say that all the time when people come on this show. He's like, he comes in and we'll sit down with somebody for an hour and a half, and he leaves, be like, oh, he's just like us. Yeah, he's like that. He's made like that. And there's some people that aren't made like that. So that was the wildest thing that came from that song, but that you were speaking. And another thing that you said was why do you care about somebody that you don't know? It's called philanthropy. Why am I giving time and money to somebody that I don't know? Boys and Girls Club, Junior Achievement, everything that you do, everything. I know we do a bunch of stuff that we're gonna bring up. I don't know these kids. I just know that these kids need somebody to help them. They need somebody to care about them and worry about them. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be in this program. I don't know why their education isn't where it is. I don't know why they're struggling to eat on a Wednesday night. I don't care. I just want to help them eat on Wednesday night. Yeah. I want to help them achieve something bigger than what they're achieving. That's what I want to do. Why do you care? Is it God? Is it conditioning? Is it whatever it is? But I tell everybody that gives back in these charity events I do, I speak about it all the time. Whatever makes you care, don't let that shit go. Yeah. Don't let it go. Whatever, if it's God, if it's your mama, your daddy, your grandma, don't let that damn thing go. But to get to the mental health thing, the funny guy, check on him. And I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. We got to get Ricky Smiley on the show. I called Ricky Smiley out. I was listening to the radio the other day, and he said, when I go through tough times, I leave the house and I try to make as many people smile as I can. And I thought about, that's what I kind of do. He said, that's my therapy. You talked about your therapist. My therapy is that whatever's going on in here, if I can make you laugh, I can make all these people around me laugh, that builds me up. So that was the thing I heard, and I was like, man, I don't know if it's funny we talking about doing the mental health check. This was 3 days ago, and Ricky Smiley said that on the morning show. He said, my therapy is making people laugh. So I think my therapy is making people laugh. And no matter what I'm going through, to get there and to see somebody that encouraged, just to change somebody else's emotion, why can't I change my own emotion?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I can make you in a bad day, I can switch you. Motherfucker, switch you. And to put it back on myself, and Ricky Smiley made me see that. The one thing I think I'm starting to get to now, we're taking on a lot of stuff. I'm taking on a lot of stuff with the comedy, with the seasoning, and I've taken on a lot of stuff, plus the pivot, plus the radio, plus all the shit that I do. I'm really starting to, and it's something that coaches said in the past, compartmentalize. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I can leave this and I could literally walk out the door, get in my truck, and be in a whole different place. Then I have to go to this meeting. This meeting starts at 11, 10:55. I'm sitting around arguing with some business partner. I walk in that meeting, and I can be myself again. And I don't know, y'all let me know, I don't know if it's good or bad to be able to do it, but I'm really getting to a point where I can boom, 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 and just put everything in its own little file cabinet and not even worry about that and I think it's helping me out a lot to be able to separate different parts of life and just concentrate on that right there.
Yeah, I think, one, it's the only way to be successful in what our lives are because you're gonna have ups and downs. I think the danger of compartmentalizing, which I believe as men we've been taught to do, I know for sure as black men we've been taught to do because, Coach Tomlin has a famous saying, like, nobody cares about your problems and a lot of people happy you got them. But in that, as we compartmentalize, we also can't forget to work through it. We also can't forget to process it. We also can't forget to feel it. And that's weird for me because I'm actually not that person that does any of those things most of the times. But I'm trying to, even though I'm about to be 45, I'm trying to learn, But you brought up laughing. Tom Brady just let people dog him for 3 hours. Bro, 3 hours? Also, too, no, I'm never doing the roast. You said you've been a part of roast, so you could go further on this than me. The people on the stage got it worse than Tom Brady.
Yes.
I mean, dog, when y'all watch that joint, do y'all sit there and go, why would Tom Brady do this?
100%. 100%.
I didn't.
No, bro, you played with him. Hold on, let me go.
Pause.
100%.
Go ahead.
First off, you don't have to pause anything about Tom Brady after Julian Edelman got up there.
Well, yeah, but that's
Boy,
not like
white people got a whole
I was
different way
going
of
to
joking.
go there. That's not our culture where we ain't making dick jokes. It's against our religion.
White people love dick jokes.
We're not doing that.
I enjoy them too. I got some dick jokes.
Oh,
I'm half white.
shit.
That's it. I can work both sides of the room. You know what I'm saying? But I was surprised because you know what a roast is. This isn't a comedy show. This is a roast. I was more surprised that they got the comedians involved. I didn't know the lineup. I didn't really look into it before to see the lineup. You get up there and have some teammates do it. You know what I'm saying? Gronk, Julian, Randy, Bill. That's what I thought it was going to be when I heard the Tom roast. When I saw them comedians sitting up there, they don't know Tom like that, bro.
But do you think that was so Netflix could make sure it was actually funny, though? Because it's difficult as a player. Every player ain't you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every coach isn't you that has an actual comedic talent, though.
But I'm with you. And I don't know the numbers. I don't want to say no false numbers but they said it killed.
Of course.
Yeah.
They said that Brady roast killed, which it would have, and it crossed over for people that didn't know sports that could watch that and laugh at those jokes and do it. But when I saw those comedians up there, like you're saying, and me knowing comedians and me sitting around dudes like Duval and Desi and Chris Spencer destroyed. We were supposed to be doing it together.
Right.
We were doing a Jason Taylor roast. So when they asked me to do it, people know my personality. I was like, y'all, JT approved of me. And JT didn't even know what. Afterward, he was like, damn, see, why you gonna do that? I said, bro, it's a roast. The roast means say the most ignorant shit you can say about this person to make everyone else in the room laugh. So when I saw them comedians sitting on that stage, when Kevin came out the box, I automatically said, Tom probably shouldn't have done this. Because think about it, those comedians, they feed their children off funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Gronk, Edelman, them boys still gonna be cool with Tom. They probably went out to eat with Tom afterwards. Them comedians that hit it. They went and lived their life. That was my biggest surprise when they brought professionals up there. But to your point, great for business. To Tom's emotions, and we've seen the backlash of it, that's when I got scared for him.
Now, it showed a side of Tom that a lot of people aren't familiar with. But the reason I said I was okay with it is because it reminded me of the camaraderie. Think about the NFL locker room. That's what we do. It's a roast session every day in the locker room, every single day. it's a different person being roasted. Sometimes it's the same person, no matter who it is. So for me, shout out to Netflix. I think it was beautifully written, like the structure, because if you go back and you look at the jokes and how they rolled off, the order that it all went in, somebody was able to go back to this person's joke and pull from it to, highlight their joke and reemphasize their joke. So it was a bit scripted. I think the comedians were brilliant. Nikki was, in my opinion, she was the best. Like, she was tough. She was hard. I just think overall, man, Tom was a great sport. He was mean as hell on the back end when he got up there. And overall, man, I thought it was a masterpiece. Netflix did well.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. And the fact that it's live, I think, makes it even more difficult. First off, shout out to Kev, right? Kevin Hart hosting.
Yeah.
And I saw he had the bottle of tequila there. So by the end, you could tell he was just living life. You know what I'm saying? Listening. I thought Tony Hinchcliffe was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? First he pulls the thing out the hat, you know what I mean? Dana White goes, and then he just walks down the stage. You. He was like, you could get a joke. You could get a joke. He was the Oprah of roasting by the time he was finished. And then when he hit Sam J with the oh hell no's I thought that junk was classic. Like, to me, he was the best one. Obviously everybody loved Nikki, now like looking more into her because she's become famous. Like, at least more famous to me and more of a celebrity to me since then. Like, I thought that was dope. But I do think the coolest part is, right, greatness brings people together. One, Netflix isn't going to promote a roast of someone who isn't like infinitely famous.
Yeah.
Because the other part of it is too, you have to have enough stuff about you, enough accolades, enough accomplishments, enough success to where those jokes can't actually offend you. They can't hurt you in certain ways. And Tom got the trump card. In the end, I'm the greatest that's ever played.
Right.
In the end, I got 7 of these things. I got 5 Super Bowl MVPs. I got 3. So when he gets up at the end, he can say what the hell he want about anybody on the stage, anybody that's there, because they're all there for you.
And his fame crosses over.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just football fans. That's Tom damn Brady.
Yeah, and so like I thought that was cool. My favorite 2 parts of it though were Tom, Gronk, and Bill Belichick taking a shot, and then in the end, Robert Kraft taking a shot with Bill Belichick, but being honest to the world. And he had probably had a few, which is the best time to talk to somebody. He said though, this is the greatest coach that's ever lived. And he said that his life and one of the greatest honors in his life was having those 2 people be a part of that organization for 2 decades. And it was like, with all the jokes and with all of those things, like, that's truly the heart of football. Is that like greatness brings us all together, working to achieve a goal. And so like in that night, because of what Tom decided to do, it's not like they got to go out and be best friends from here on out, but it was like, man, because he was comfortable enough, I'm sure they paid him a ton, because he was comfortable enough with allowing people to talk about him, he got certain people in the room who hadn't been in the room all together. And Julian Edelman sort of talked about like the tension that was in the room and the way that like everything felt. But by the end of the night, man, that was all gone, because like when you accomplish what they've accomplished, it's all love. And so, man, I thought the whole thing was dope. I think it's a great idea. I will never, ever be a part of one. I'm not gonna be on the stage. I don't wanna host it.
I had George lined up.
No, you ain't don't line mine up. Dude, we went to your show. You just told people I had sickle cell and laughed about it. I couldn't imagine.
Sickle cell's a great joke.
It's a terrible joke. I couldn't imagine what you do to me at a roast when I'm actually telling you I'm here for you to talk about me. I was there to support you, and I became a part of your bit.
Yes.
So RC, the question is why? Why wouldn't you? And also, all right, give you a situation, a charitable cause. You wouldn't give of yourself to allow people to just say whatever they want to make up stuff. Because rappers are doing it these days. It's just fabricating any fucking
My
thing.
kindness ain't, my kindness
for the
journey
sake of someone
is
else.
a week long. I ain't been to my kindness journey long enough.
Jumping in there. Yeah, he just got on this.
I mean, y'all roast me all the time. Like, I wouldn't mind it.
No,
like,
I
wouldn't care. I think it would be fun to hear what you got to say about me, whether it's true, made up, like it does
But
not
I think
matter.
I think that's the big part of it, right? It's like the fact that at least the people who are close to you, you know their heart, you've experienced things, and so that is funny. And then when you think about the teammates, though, they didn't really go hard on him.
No.
Right, because it ain't really much. Like, Julian Edelman basically gave him fellatio for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that ain't even, like, he didn't do it. And all Randy asked was like, hell, I want cheat too.
Yeah.
Like, Randy felt like they couldn't trust a black man from West Virginia
That was
in
a good
Boston.
one.
You know what I'm saying?
But it was the residual damage or the buckshots or the other side of it. You come out and roast me, just like Brady. My wife's gonna be involved.
Yeah.
My ex is gonna be involved. The Aaron Hernandez stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now he's not here with us, but he has the daughter. Like that would be the fear, honestly, of roasting. Y'all know I don't care what anyone says about me. I don't give a damn. But now you're bringing in, they'll say something about Randy and drugs. Yeah. You know, they'd bring in maybe my parents' divorce. Now they're bringing in, and they might go find stuff and look up stuff. You're bringing other people in there. So that shrapnel that's shooting off of this bomb.
I have a question.
Those are the people that are going to be upset.
But for you like B-Rabbit from 8 Mile, your life is a joke for you, right? Like, you use all those things. So we'd actually get on stage and it'd be like, tell these people something they don't know about me, right? But for like Tom, like he has kids, and he has kids with Bridget. That's Jack. And then now you have your 2 children with Giselle, who are old enough to sort of understand. And it's like they're talking about karate teacher and jiu-jitsu. Like, that's a difficult thing, And I also think, like, the Hernandez stuff,
sensitive.
And this is me. I'm not speaking for everybody. It's like a lot of that's not a joke to me. And I don't think the comedian part of it bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Because they comedians. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, y'all don't know Aaron Hernandez. Y'all don't know Tom Brady, really. You guys are writing jokes,
They're
right?
finding punchlines.
Right, but for Julian Edelman, the joke about Gronk's penis that ends in what he said about Aaron Hernandez, like, I have an issue with that. Because, like, you shared a locker room, whether y'all had beef, whether y'all were never friends, and I'm not saying that he's a good human, so you owe him something, because you don't, but you owe his family. There are people who are mourning and hurting over that. And so, like, to me, those things from the player side was a little distasteful, but I totally understand it from comedians, because comedians do what comedians do.
It's the shrapnel. If anybody I really knew close, I don't know Tom like that, but anybody I knew close and they're like, hey, and I see it coming, I would warn them about the shrapnel that people around them are going to catch.
Well, he got up and told old boy early, like, don't say the SHIT no more. When he said something about Robert Kraft.
About Kraft stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. So Kraft and,
they
boys, Belichick, they won so much together. It's those folks that are going to catch it. And that would be my fear about it, is the people around them catching it. But the thing with the locker room, I would push back because, like, it was a teammate of mine who we found out he was getting divorced. And we walk in the locker room and we killing him. Hey, bro, you putting magazines, the little magazine in his locker, the naked ladies and all that stuff. Hey, man, you want to go out tonight? You ain't got nothing to do. Your wife don't like you no more. You can't say that in public. But between us, it's funny.
That's why the locker room's different. That's why they call it locker room talk.
And they're trying. A roast and crossing over locker room talk, that's dangerous.
Yeah, bro.
That's dangerous. Remember Pat White got knocked out? Who? Ike. Ike destroyed Pat. That's not funny. Pat was asleep on the field. He woke up on the turnpike headed to the hospital.
Yeah.
The next day, I wouldn't say I put on myself. I brought pillows and covers and blankets and piled them up in his locker because I thought, are you still asleep? That's funny to me. And that's funny, like everybody walking like, Crowder, man, you stupid. I was like, man, the man went to sleep. I wanted to bring him some covers and pillows. Yeah. It's not funny with the CTE stuff going. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think big picture, what's going on, the people and everything going on with the brain injuries. But to a teammate, to a boy like us, oh man, that's fun. And Pat walked in see, man, you so stupid. I'm like, bro.
And also,
we're so
too,
used
though,
to
like
it.
in that environment, I know you've probably been asleep like me, or you understand it, so it's funny. When you do it in front of other people, now you let house business out. And the way we grow up, a lot of us is your mama telling you, don't talk about what goes on in this house out there, right? People ain't supposed to be a part of that. And so I think like that was the hard part, but I get it. Like I truly get it. And I thought it was great, and I thought it was funny, and I thought it was well put together, and I thought it was like a myriad of talented people. And also like I couldn't imagine having to be on that stage, on Netflix, in the forum with all those people. Like I thought Gronk was great because he was just Gronk.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I'm saying? Like I thought Bill Belichick was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just got up there and he was still Bill, and it was still awkward. You know what I'm saying? But it was still like he looks at Rodney Harrison and he's like, man, the biggest joke is that you're not in the Hall of Fame. I couldn't imagine having somebody say that man say that about me in that form.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that like all that was cool. But I just thought, some of the stuff is like,
Goes too far.
Danny Amendola caught a lot of strays. He caught a lot of strays in it. But I think, just coming from that whole thing, man, we're so used to that locker room vibe, having been in it for years from Pop Warner all through. They tell you can't have thin skin in here. You can't be sensitive. You got to go out. Not that you have to just be tough. Like, that's part of the game. But from a mindset standpoint, it comes with the territory, man. We're so used to it. That's why I say I wouldn't have a problem with the roast, because I'm used to being, the butt of people's jokes. So I'm cool with it.
I gotta flame you in the end though. Then like how I'm with Tom. In the end, I gotta go ham. Cause all y'all that sit up here for 3 hours, what he say? Pew pew. Hey, I gotta pew pew. I don't care. Hey, I might lie. I don't care. I'm Tom Brady. People gonna think it's the truth anyway.
They gonna believe.
Yeah,
it.
I'm going.
Did a good job.
I think, and I also believe that football players would be better than basketball players. But Austin Rivers, who I actually like, man, met him in the green room, super cool dude, said that he could think of 30 NBA players right now that could play in the NFL. Do y'all agree?
I don't want to talk about the rap beef for an extended period, but it seems that it took Kendrick to kind of build up his courage to go at Drake in the sense that he's gone at Drake after forming this team of superheroes. For Austin Rivers to make those comments, it seems that the rules of the NFL had to change for him to say all these basketball players can play now. They're gonna play receiver, they're gonna get on the defensive side and defend the Hail Mary in the end zone. We don't hit receivers no more. That's the only position I believe they can play. So his comment might be valid in some sense, but I believe I don't know if it's 30 NFL guys that can play in the NBA, but it's some guys that can get in there. If we're talking about hacking and some guys are definitely skilled enough to go play, but I don't.
That's what it is.
I just think you can find 30 NBA guys to go and play in the NFL.
No, you
for
can't.
Situationally.
You can find
It's
NBA
about getting
players
there, though.
that are physically talented enough to play in the NFL.
Listen.
Bro, a jump ball in the back of the end zone, they could do that.
Situationally.
Yeah,
My
they could
thing
do
is
that.
the grind. Can you make it through training camp? Can you make it through that 90 degrees, 100 degrees, 110 with all of the fans and humidity in Florida in September, training camp in August? Can you do that? Can you play outside in Green Bay or in Chicago in December, January? Can you do that? Like, now we kick into the mental toughness aspect of it all.
Yeah.
Can they transition to that part? Because you can run up and down the court. You got great conditioning, great stamina. We know that. You're playing in 75 or 65 degree the entire game, the entire season. Can you do that? So, I mean, I don't know. It's a good debate, but I don't know.
The crossover either way, there are some super talented NBA players, super physically talented NBA players, and they're super physically talented NFL players. But to make that crossover, I think it's disrespectful. And I joked about it when Austin Rivers had the little picture out, he holding his chain. I was like, not looking like that, you about to play in the NFL. I don't know that little stance. It's the thing, and Freddie, I know what you're saying situationally. I'm saying this. Okay, you're gonna go do a jump ball, right? That jump ball thing, situation. But now Ryan Clark's about to come and eat them ribs up. You might catch that ball, but you about to get all of this. What was you, 205?
On a good day.
On a good day, I try to give you a little love today.
On a good day.
You about to get 205 in the ribs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day? That's the part of it. That's the physical side of it that they don't want to know. That whole LeBron thing, he had a commercial about he over there running tight end and catching them and all. LeBron would be a stupid tight end until one of these crazy safeties come and jam his forehead into his chin. Charles Barkley talked about it on our show. Charles Barkley just talked about it recently with Takeo and them on the Behind the Mask.
Okay.
He said, I went out there and they put me at D tackle and I jammed my head into another man's head over and over and over again. I gave my pads back. I say it all the time. It's a saying. I didn't make it up. Football has made a lot of basketball players, and I'm not calling them
The
soft.
Oklahoma drill.
I'm just saying that it's a different type sport and it's a different type mentality. It doesn't have to do with speed, height, vertical. It has to do with wanting to physically dominate another dude and having the opportunity every play that another man is going to jam his forehead into your chin and you have to deal with that. They throw the flag. You didn't care?
No, I wasn't tripping on that.
I saw him get flags. They made a mixtape about him getting flags. He did not care. Do they want to deal with that getting jammed in their chin 5, 6 times a game?
That's why I led with the rules, the changes. Nowadays, I can probably agree with that comment from him. If you put him in that era, Donovan Darius era, all of those guys, those hitters,
Yeah.
fuck no.
The thing,
No,
all right, so
no.
we're not saying who they could be in each sport, right? Like there are basketball players who are on the 15-man roster, I believe it is, who average 2 points or 1 point and get rebounds and stuff like that. You know, you look at guys like Devontae, who was a great high school basketball player, Max Crosby, who still hoops now. Like they could do some of those role player things, right? Like what happens is these sports pick us. It's a reason we look at Kyrie and Chris Paul and Stephen Curry like we do. First off, Stephen Curry's 4 inches taller than me. He just don't look like it because everybody out there is 7 foot. The games pick us, right? Like if you 5'11" or 6 foot, you better go play football. If you're a 6'4" power forward or shooting guard and you ain't great at it, go try football because at 6'4", you're a unicorn at most positions. Like that's what happens. Like that's the, but period point blank, basketball don't have a Deion. Basketball don't have a Bo Jackson, right? Like basketball don't have guys like Odell Beckham Jr. and Malik Neighbors. Basketball don't have a dude that could go run 4-3, that could bench 225 15 times. They got a 42-inch vertical without taking that little sissy sorry step that they get to take when they test their vertical at the combine. Like basketball don't have that dude. Basketball don't have Odell that could go pick up a soccer ball, that could go play in a softball charity game, hit that over the fence. Like basketball doesn't have that dude. I don't care what you say. Yes, Kevin Durant's good at basketball because he's ultimately skilled, but he's 7 foot. I get it. Like those things pick us in these sports. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they talk about like the Jimmy Grahams and Antonio Gateses and the Tony Gonzaleses, the Julius Peppers. Like all of those guys played both sports, ended up playing football because they weren't that tall, right? Charlie Ward, who won a Heisman, ends up playing in basketball for over a decade. Ronald Curry went to North Carolina. He did both. And so, like nobody comes to play football who's never played football before that's a hooper. They've all played at some point in their life because building up who we have to be for football, that's a callus that you have to build, right? Like it started in Oklahoma drills when I was 6 years old and we had no business doing it. And I was the one person that ran to the front of the line because I loved running people over. And I was like, if you get me when I'm on defense in this drill, I'm watching the line. And when you get back to the front, I'm skipping everybody. If I'm not lined up where you are, that's a mentality, bro, that you're born with that and then you build on it each and every year. They ain't that. Like part of like their mentality is that flopping is a good thing. I can't walk down the street and have somebody bump me and I flop. I'm not finna act like you hurt me. If you bump me, I'm finna try to walk back around and swing the bench so I can bump you again. Like, that's part of the mentality. And are there some people there who are probably like skilled enough?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. But you mean to tell me, like, you gotta pick like a Russell. You gotta pick a healthy Derrick Rose. Because if you give me anybody, maybe Anthony Edwards, you give me anybody 6'6" or taller and slim, I'm gonna split him in half so many times.
He can't get low enough.
So many times, he's gonna choose to do something else with his life. But on the basketball side of it, yeah, most of us can't just go do that because most of us aren't tall enough. And it's such a game of skill, but like, I didn't find it disrespectful by Austin. Like, he's talking about like the athletes that are there, you know, and I get it, but he also has to think about the culture of the humans. Period, point blank. The reason Draymond, right, is thought of as such of a goon in basketball is because he'll fight and he'll push and he'll grab and he won't do all the flopping. Like, he has like Draymond Green would be one of those guys we like, okay, he has a football mentality. Yeah. Let me tell you what happened to Draymond Green when he went out and tried to play football at Michigan State. He got his ass choked out. And he realized they are all like me. All of these mother effers out here is crazy. And Michigan State wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
Right? And so my point is this. I get it. Athletically, some of y'all can do some of the things it would take to play certain positions. Emotionally and mentally, I would break you purposely. The day they sent you out there, the first thing I would do, if you play receiver and I see you motion down in this Z crack, I don't care if Freddy T got the ball, I'm gonna turn like this, right? I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say to myself, I see, Austin, in your little light-skinned eyes, this is not what you want.
None of that
right?
smoke.
And when I do it the first time, I'm gonna be like, well, okay, first time he was all right. Let's see you do the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time. And so I think it's a great discussion. And I don't know what football players I'll pick that could go play basketball, but the bottom line is I believe we are more athletic humans because I think we can do more. And I believe the basketball part of it is a skill thing developed over time as it is like the mentality of what we do. You mentioned the rap beef, though, real quick, because it's over now, I think.
Right.
It's over.
Right.
It better be.
Who won?
It better be.
Why it better be over?
Because Kendrick knocked him in the head 5-6 times and Drake was throwing BBs at him. Drake was throwing cold peas at him and Kendrick was bombing him.
Yeah.
That's why he won.
So Chance, somebody was dinking the dunking. Kendrick was the 2007 Patriots. How this going over the top?
He's going over the top. Bro, Kendrick is a rapper. He raps. He was waiting for it. Drake is a performer. Drake is a nice person. Drake is a dancer. And Drake's a ladies' man and all. He calls himself the boy and all. Everything that Kendrick said, it hits you like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Drake is very talented. Kendrick's a rapper. I don't know how the hell Kendrick was putting out these albums this fast. He already put out four in a day and a half?
I'm glad you said what you just said about the 2007 Patriots. Kendrick had Drake's entire playbook. He had his playbook. He was more strategic and he executed, right? If you look at how he released those songs, he knew what was coming from Drake's side. Even Drake came back and said, well, we fed you a lot of this stuff. He had other information prior to. Everybody wondered why, when Drake dropped, what was it, Push-Ups? I think that was the first one off like that. He dropped Push-Ups. Everybody like, where's Kendrick? He took 2-3 weeks to respond, but he came back in a flurry, right? He had already, they talked about the mole, somebody in Drake's camp. He was fed a lot of information. He had already done all of his homework and research. So when Drake dropped Family Matter,
Meet the Grams.
He knew what was coming. Yeah. He had his playbook. So you ask me who won? Kendrick won. But Kendrick also was aided. Like, he had the playbook already. So it was entertaining.
I don't give a mother F.
I'll
take Spygate and Deflategate for 2 Super Bowls.
We're talking about the art of war, right? The art of war, and ain't no rules. And he took it to his advantage, and then he topped it off by saying, I'm bringing the West Coast back. All those little subtle jabs, You can't go to Oakland. That's where your tour dates stop. You can't do this. That right there, it goes from, we talked about personal and keeping it friendly. It went past that so long ago. Now you talk about shrapnel. All of this other stuff, what happens with the friendly rap beef, you can't tell a fanatic fan of Freddy T what to do, how to handle you in the streets if you say something about me. And that's the residual effect. It's gonna be some other shit that come from this. That's the part that I'm concerned about, because it shouldn't have to go there.
I don't know if it had to do with old boy getting shot, Drake's house. That disgusted me. Because we saw Biggie, we saw Pac, we saw, like, if you gonna just battle, if you're really gonna lyrically battle. And don't get your feelings hurt. It goes back to the Tom Brady roast. Like, if you're gonna throw words, let's throw words. Everybody throw words, you can upset me, I'm upset. Don't get to shooting up people. Don't get to killing talented people. Don't get that. When I saw that thing, and I don't know if Kendrick was a part, I don't want to say anything like that. But even if it's somebody that doesn't know Kendrick and you think this is the direction to go, that's sad to me and that upset me when I was like, when they're trying to correlate the rap battle to Drake's security guard getting shot. I hate that.
Well, I think rap battles and beef is like the foundation of hip hop. And that's why everybody was so excited about it. You know, you take it back, I remember, you know, if you're talking about my time, like Kumo D and LL Cool J. You know, my cousin was a huge LL Cool J fan. Cannabis, LL Cool J. You got Ice Cube and NWA. You got Eazy-E and Dr. Dre. Obviously Tupac and Biggie, and the tragic way that we feel like that ended because of where it started. And then you got, to me, the biggest one ever was Jay-Z and Nas. Right? They gave you the Takeover and Ether. But then when it got to Super Ugly, which is what Jay did in response, he was even like, okay, this went too far.
Right.
But you remember in the Takeover, it got personal, because he was like, because you know who, did you know what, well, you know who. Let's keep that between me and you.
Correct.
Right? So like that's always sort of been the foundation of it. And like when you go to this, when you're talking about Drake and Kendrick, I think the rap battle went according to their personalities. If you would ask people why they like Drake, you know, especially, you know, you think of women or you think of men, he seems like a very vulnerable, open, and emotional human. And he shares those things. Kendrick is a very thoughtful and methodical human. His albums say it, because his albums aren't for the people. Right? Like, he gave us Good Kid, Mad City because that's where he was. He gave us To Pimp a Butterfly, which was like social commentary, because it led into everything else we got. He won a Pulitzer with, damn, Mr. Morale is totally different, because he's not really making that for us. That's the music that he feels in his soul. Drake is making music for the people. And Drake kind of approached this for the people. Kendrick approached this as, I'm gonna attack Drake, which is why he wins. I think the other thing, I think Euphoria was an absolute masterpiece. But I think Meet the Grams is like the most thoughtful and methodically written diss track ever. It's like a therapeutic apology to all the people who are close to it. Like, I'm actually sorry that you're a part of this guy's life, or that he's a part of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had just never dealt with anything like that. And on the back end of it though, man, like, I don't know if like people painting on Drake stuff or Drake's security guard and all of those things happening are a part of this. The sad part is, for people who want to be negative about our culture, for people who want to point to the way that we tear one another down, this is gonna be like an extra layer of ammunition for them. And so like, that's the only thing I pray, you know, it's like, think about like elected officials and people we champion and people we're fans of. They empower their fan base by their popularity, by their successes. You know, we've seen it even in the presidential office. And if the wrong people are empowered in the wrong way, there's a negativity that now starts with the apex, or starts with the sun, that is now a part of the orbit, right? That tears down the whole galaxy. And so like, that's the part of it that, you know, that I don't love. That's the part of it that I think is sad. And so I hope that those things aren't, you know, connected to it.
I think the bigger picture too is, who are the real winners in all of it? You look at the labels, these companies, you know, the amount of money that they're gonna see from all this extra attention. Even when a lot of these guys that are involved, when their sales weren't doing great and their views and all these stuff, the streaming, those numbers have jumped through the roof. You go on Apple. Apple has a playlist, best rap diss tracks. And it has a lot of those tracks. You made me thought about it, The Takeover, Roxanne Shante, the LL Who Shot Ya, Biggie. Like, it has all of this stuff. So these people have identified these guys as, they've hitched themselves to this bandwagon where they can capitalize and hopefully at these guys' expense, no one lose their lives. And I think I can shut it down by saying that.
Yeah. Well, this was a great show. Again, Freddy T, congratulations. And on Tuesday, we have a huge announcement for the Pivot. Not gonna give you no more than that. Stay tuned. What I want to say is, thank you guys for supporting us through our mixtape era.
And I want to say this too. Y'all subscribe. Y'all be watching, ain't subscribed. Go subscribe. Subscribe.
Later, guys.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.